What's up, movie lovers? It's your girl Rossie, and I'm back to finally, guys, finish up our wonderful series that we've been watching for the past few months. Let the Right One In. It was on Showtime. I streamed it on Hulu. They have removed it, but the last episode was awesome. So let's talk about it, guys. Oh, no, that's our new movie lovers. Let me show you mine. And there you have it. So, guys, this has been a long time coming. I know it took us forever to get to the end. I'm sitting here by myself tonight. John can't join me because they took it off of Showtime, and we didn't want to binge it out. I'm really happy that I went against that rule and went ahead and watched the final episode when I watched episode 9. So, remember, in episode 9, we leave off. Claire is at the door at Mark and Ellie's apartment. So what previously happened is, remember in episode 9, Matthew gone. Mark had to Mark shot him in the head because he was attacking Ellie. He was trying to remember um, uh, shoot out the ceilings in the warehouse. And of course, Ellie can't, have light or sun or else she burns. So Mark ended up shooting Matthew. Claire's out in her car waiting for Matthew to return, and he doesn't. So Claire is way in the parking lot, and she sees Mark with a duffel bag and carrying someone in it. And we know that it's Ellie, putting her in the trunk. So she follows Mark back to his apartment, and we start episode 10 with her knocking on the door. They answer because at this point, guys, so much stuff went down at that warehouse. Remember, Matthew's henchmen end up uh, kidnapping Mark, torturing him. And so a lot of things went down. Because so many things went down, it's time for Ellie and Mark to leave. They have to get out of town. We also have, Naomi, who is working with an Interpol agent because if you remember, up in Canada, they have some murders that were going on up there that had the same MO as what Mark did to Frank, Naomi's ex-husband. Okay, so they're getting together to combine their cases to figure out who is this person that's killing all of these men, and these men happen to be pedophiles. Okay, so that's who Mark chose to kill to feed Ellie. So it doesn't, it doesn't make it as bad. You know what I'm saying? So they're closing in on Mark. So right now they're waiting for the fingerprints to come back because remember when Mark killed Frank, slit his throat in that one warehouse, out of Frank's pocket fell that his coin from his AA group. And so there's a fingerprint on there, and we're getting close to figuring out whose print that is, Naomi and the Interpol agent. So back at the apartment, they open up the door. Well, who's there? It's freaking Claire. She's standing at the door and she opens up and says, I hear you guys been looking for me. And the shock on Mark and Ellie's face, because remember, they've been looking for her since the show began, because she holds the cure to make Ellie normal again, to so she could be a regular person. And also, remember, Claire's dealing with her brother Peter, who also happened to be bit and has the same, disease. He's a vampire like Ellie is. Okay, so Claire, knowing that there's another vampire besides her brother, she's eager to also meet Ellie because Ellie also holds to cure her brother. Okay, so she convinces them to come back to the mansion. I can help you out. Let me do some tests on Ellie, and we can figure this out. So they reluctantly, and just to let you know, they really were excited to when they first found out who Claire was. Like, finally, after all these years, they know who she was, okay? And who she is. So they reluctantly go back to the mansion with Claire. And once there, the deal is that, you know, they don't want, Mark doesn't want Claire doing any type of experiments on Ellie without him being there. They didn't think they were going to go there and live, but come to find out, Claire's like, I have a room for you. You can stay here. And Mark's kind of like, I don't know about that, but he has to do it. I mean, it doesn't make sense to turn it down when this is who you've been looking for. So so they're gonna settle in. She gets I'm sorry, she gets Ellie her own room, and when Ellie sees Peter, if you guys remember back at the I think it was episode 4 or 5 when we when there's a connection between Peter and Ellie when they because they went out stargazing. Okay, so there's that connection. When they see each other, they kind of give each other that look like, I know you. I've seen you somewhere. And they say that to each other. And so the adults are standing around like, how is it that they know each other? The night that Ellie got bit, remember, she was with Peter. They were both stargazing. But Peter was bitten by a legendary vampire. So, and we don't know who that is, okay? So that's still open. But there we finally see them together and they realize there is a connection, like we do know each other, and I think they remember that night when they went stargazing. So at this point, as they're getting settled in, Mark, decides he has to go back to the apartment to go and get the rest of the things so that they can, leave, and bring it over to Claire's apartment. At the same time, we have Naomi, who ends up getting a hit on that fingerprint, and it's not what she wanted she didn't want to know or to have to deal with the fact that the man that she's been feeling, it's his fingerprint, it's Mark's fingerprint. So she's on her way, actually out to go find Mark, and so she heads out to the mansion, and she's parked and sees Mark going inside with, Claire, and she sees Ellie. And so she's sitting there and just kind of wondering what the hell's going on here, right? What does Mark have this connection? Why is he out at this mansion that we know that Naomi and her partner, remember, they recently went out to that mansion to go ask questions because the drugs that Claire has out on the street, it's actually been broke down, and it's, we know that drug dealers are selling it, and the addicts that are taking it are getting superhuman strength and all this stuff. So obviously, that drug leads Naomi to Claire's mansion, and while she's there, if you remember, Claire's like, I don't know what you're talking about, talk to my lawyer. And so it kind of raises suspicions, with Naomi, like something's going on here. So Naomi's parked outside. Remember, Mark is getting ready to leave to go get Ellie's things, but he tells Claire, do not do anything to Ellie until I'm here. And he lets Ellie know, do not let them test you, nothing, not even blood drawn until I'm here. And so, of course, they agree. And we all know, who Claire is. And obviously, Claire's last, victim that she had, who she was experimenting on, because remember, she had to go from the chimpanzees to a human, cadaver. And she had his name was Chris, and remember Peter, felt bad and got to know him, and was they're friends. And so remember, Peter tries to help him out, and he ends up attacking Claire really bad to where Claire was going to leave. She didn't want anything to do with it. But finding out that there's another vampire obviously piques her interest because this is the key. This is what she needs so that she can experiment on that vampire to help cure her brother. And so, so Claire, lets Mark know that's not going to happen. Mark leaves, and when he leaves, uh, you know, Claire is just as sweet as she can be to Ellie, her and Peter, and showing her around the mansion, showing her her room, showing her the laboratory downstairs in the basement, and obviously, you know how smart Ellie is. She has questions and all that. Anyways, Claire ends up, convincing Ellie, let me do some tests on you. Let me see. It's not going to hurt. I'm not going to do anything to just let me test you a little bit. And so, we know what Claire wants to do. And Ellie does it. Ellie gets up in a chair. They lock her in, and Peter's standing there because now he knows he has to be on board with his sister because he went against his sister and it backfired. So Peter's a good kid, he's soft-hearted. He doesn't want to hurt anyone, but he has to be on board this time because he did, go against his sister and she ended up being right. So this time around, remember that talk she had with him. It's my way or no way. And if you, go against me again, I'm out of here, So Peter's behaving. He's trying to make, Ellie feel good and comfortable about it's okay, get up in a chair. Here's a button, so if you want to unlock the wrist clamps, you can do that to make Ellie feel more comfortable. But really, we know, as Blake Williams said in the chat, let's see that. What did you say, Blake? And thanks for being in the chat, Blake. Blake says Claire's game plan should have shifted when it was revealed that Peter knew her before he was a vampire. Right, exactly. But at this point, that's not happening at all. And let's see. Hi, Joanne. Thanks for joining us tonight. You're right, Blake, but of course she doesn't because this is she's been looking, and just to have another vampire when you've had none that you can now help your brother, she's going for it. So they have Ellie in the chair, and you know after a while, Ellie kind of knows, something's not right about this. They're not letting me out, and they're telling her, Ellie, listen, I gotta help my brother, and you're the key to that. And remember, they want to do, uh, also, sorry, there's so much because I can't wait to get to the end of this because it's so awesome how it ends. But anyways, um, um, Claire is not a surgeon. She's not a doctor. Claire is a scientist. So she's just, you know, experimenting. Okay. She doesn't quite know what she's doing, but she's experimenting and she wants to do that brainstem thing that she did to Chris. She wants to do that to Ellie. So, um, while Mark's gone, they have Ellie in the basement. This is going on. They're got Ellie locked in to where she can't get out of her restraints. And, she's starting to get upset. And she controls it. By this point, they're down in a basement getting ready to do what they do to Ellie. And Mark is, on his way back to the mansion. And remember, Mark comes back. Naomi's outside. Mark goes inside and he's looking for Ellie. And he goes down, I think he goes down to the laboratory, and Ellie's in there. And Ellie's at this point is fighting to get out of these restraints because obviously she knows what they're going to do to her, and it doesn't quite go well, guys. I mean, there's a big fight. Um, I think at that point, uh, Ellie is when she gets really upset, she's starting to show her, become that monster that she was at that warehouse. And we also have Peter as well, who you get him riled up as well. He goes through the same thing. So Mark comes in. He sees Ellie in the restraints. At this point, at some point, Naomi is out of her car getting ready to go inside to find out what's going on, because remember, the prince came back. It's Mark. He's the killer. He's his the Interpol agents. Her The murders that were going on up in Canada is it matches the way that Mark killed Frank. Now Naomi knows, you bastard, you killed my ex-husband. And she goes in there, and at that point she has her gun out, and she's going off on Mark, and he's telling her, like, calm down, basically, settle down, because she's really upset, because this whole time, remember, they've established a bond. Ellie kind of looks at Naomi as like a mom. Remember their bonding experience when she goes to class with Naomi, the defensive class that she went to, that Naomi invited her to. So these families have become very, very close, and to finally find out that the person that you've been with, and you know that Naomi's starting to fall in love with Mark. He's the killer. He's the person that killed your ex-husband. And remember, uh Ellie does not know this. She doesn't know that she consumed Frank. Okay? She doesn't know that her dad killed Isaiah's, father. And I think at one point she even asked, about Frank. And Mark is, never told, Ellie about that he knows that he killed Isaiah's, dad. So all of this comes to a head. There's a as Naomi is got Mark held up. I think both what is it, Ellie and Peter, I think they started to, or Ellie gets out of the restraints. Um, Peter ends up attacking um, Naomi, and I mean attacking Naomi, throwing her around by her hair. He has her on the ground, and he's just bamming her head against the floor, and you just see blood. And at this point, I'm kind of like, what the hell? Like, I know Naomi is not going to die. It was so surprising, guys. It happened so fast. Um, Ellie ends up attacking Peter, and getting him off of Naomi, and also Claire is out of it at this point. You have Naomi laying on the ground and inside the laboratory, and she's dying. I mean, blood is just everywhere. You have Mark rush over to Naomi, picks her up. They're getting out of the freaking mansion. Peter's out by this point. I don't know if he's dead. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. It looks like he's out, basically knocked out again. Okay. But anyways, they take Naomi outside. They, Mark's holding her in his hand, and he's just devastated, like, please don't die. Freaking Ellie is just absolutely devastated, because this is the worst thing that can happen. The person who she loves like a mother, is, is dead. They lay Naomi down on the ground, and Naomi is taking her last few breaths, and she's just, trying to talk, and telling, you know, telling Ellie and Mark, please, please, take care of Isaiah. Tell Isaiah I love him. And when you think about it, at this point, this kid has lost his father. Okay. Um, his best friend, Ellie, has to move, so he's losing her. He's losing Mark. All of these things is has happened to this kid. And now his mother is dying. Okay. She's dying. So Ellie is over mom's body, over Naomi's body, and Mark's just looking at her and just kind of, you can tell in his mind it's just a million things going on, the guilt that he must feel by getting this woman involved in all of this, okay? And all of this has to be just the worst feeling ever. And a woman that you actually love, at this point, I mean, they have a connection, they have a bond. All of them do. All of them do. Um, Ellie's not going for it. She's not willing to tell Isaiah, your mom said she loves you. So Ellie does the next best thing. She looks at her dad and she says to him, "Oh, I'm not going to tell Isaiah. She can tell Isaiah. You tell her yourself." And oh my gosh, just a second. Hey, Frenchie. Love the trivia tonight. We had a show earlier. You can watch it on Movie Lovers Unite YouTube channel. It was a Movie Lovers Unite and Scene Invaders, another awesome podcast. And we had a trivia tonight, and Frenchie was the head of that. Thank you, Frenchie. And Blake says, I don't know about Peter, but I think Claire is dead. Right, right. Because if you remember, the last time that Peter was, knocked out, when he let Chris go, um, I thought Peter was dead then, and no, he's alive. So as far as Peter, we don't know his state. We just know that he's knocked out. But Claire's dead. Claire's out of this. Okay. Anyways, back to Naomi dying outside of the mansion. Ellie says to her, you tell Isaiah yourself. And then Mark looks at her and kind of gives her that look and sees her fangs come out and says, "No, Ellie." And Ellie bites Naomi. What a freaking trip. When I saw that episode, guys, when I saw that part where she bites Naomi, was not expecting it. I'm sure no one was expecting that. It was freaking the best ending ever, because we could possibly get a part two, okay? And that would be great, because with Naomi being bitten, how is that going to work out between her and Mark? Knowing that Mark killed your ex-husband and is responsible for those murders up in Canada as well as the US. Because remember, Ellie and Mark moved around a lot. They moved around a lot because, they had to stay on the run to protect Ellie so that no one could find out. And if someone got too close or something happened, they had to leave, to the point they were all up in Canada, guys. And the murders were done the same way. And we know how Mark breaks down the victims, okay? Um, this was just, it was a mind-blowing ending. I was in my living room jumping up and down, just like, no way, are you serious? This would be so awesome to have a season two, just to see how that's going to work out. How is Naomi going to handle that situation? What happens between Isaiah and Mark and Ellie? Because he's gonna know that his dad, or well, we would think that he would end up finding out that it was, Mark that killed his dad, and then for Ellie to even find out that she consumed Frank. How is that going to go down? I mean, I myself enjoyed this series. The ending was everything. Naomi being bit, and even if it doesn't come back for a second season, ending it like that is just it's awesome, because you weren't expecting that to happen. I thought that maybe the boy, that Isaiah would be the one that would be bit way before his mother. I thought that, that Ellie would have turned him, um, but that didn't happen. So I'm just wondering if they do a season two. I'm totally down for it. They did a great job with making the movie into a series. Every episode was great. It's been a great ride. I've enjoyed it. I mean, I was trying to prolong it at times. I was like, oh, I'm okay with, not being able to review episode whatever, because I want to just, continue to watch and just enjoy this series. You guys, unfortunately, Showtime has taken it down. Um, I don't know where else you can see it. I know that it's not on Hulu anymore. So I don't know if that means that it's not on Showtime, but it's not streaming on Hulu anymore. Hopefully, at some point, it'll be put back up so that people that didn't see this series would be able to watch it. They did a great job. I hope you guys enjoyed, watching me review this with friends that came on and discussed it with us. And that's that, guys. That is that. That's how it ends. Naomi is a vampire. Pray for season two. I know they got a season two up their sleeve because it would be awesome. Okay. Um, so that's it, guys. Besides that, I appreciate you guys joining me and enjoying this series as much as I've enjoyed Let the Right One In. Um, I love vampire films. They're my favorites. And to see this movie be made into a series, and at first kind of being skeptical about it, like, I don't know. And then once you watch episode one, you're in it till the end because there's so much that you want to find out about. So with that, the next series that I'm going to do, I think that we should. I want to do The Watchers. It's on Netflix. Um, I've watched every episode. It's so good. I would love to review that with you guys and discuss that. There's 8 or 10 episodes on that, so we're going to get through that. After that, though, we're going to revisit Westworld. And if you've never seen Westworld, please, it's streaming on Hulu, wherever I think it's Showtime or HBO. Anyways, Westworld is an awesome series. There's 4 seasons. We're going to start obviously at season 1. I really enjoyed Westworld. Such a good series. I have not seen the movies. So what I'm going to do is before we start reviewing Westworld, we're going to watch Westworld the movie. I believe that came out in 1973. Yul Brynner is the star of it, and it's the movie that sparked seasons 1 and 2. After that, when we get to seasons 3 and 4, before we get into seasons 3 and 4 of Westworld, we're going to then watch the movie Future World. And I'll review that because that movie is about seasons 3 and 4 is based off of Future World. Okay, so we're gonna start that in a few weeks after we finish The Watchers, and that's gonna be good. I really enjoyed that series on Netflix. It's called The Watchers. Please, you guys, check it out. Not next week, the 22nd, we're going to do a video game show. I'm going to have Jason Johnson on, and we're going to talk video games and video games that we felt should be movies and video games that were movies that weren't that great. Okay. So everything video games on Wednesday show, the 22nd. The 1st of March, John and I will review The Menu for Movie Lovers Unite. Okay, that was a great movie. If you guys haven't seen it, please go watch it. It's on it's streaming everywhere. Okay, so please check out The Menu. Really good movie. And then after we finish up with The Menu, that following week, we're going to start season 1, episode 1 of The Watchers, and we're going to get through that. It's really good. And then we're going to start Westworld, and that's going to take us through the summertime, guys, and so on and so on. So I hope that you guys will come back, watch that with me. If there's movies, guys, or if there's TV shows or just anything that I am missing that you guys would like for me to talk about, please, you can email me at rossietalks@gmail.com. You can also follow me on Instagram at mccree123hotmail.com. Also, you can see me on Movie Lovers Unite with John DiGregorio and Alex Haynes. Please check him out, Alex Haynes, A-Town Reviews, John DiGregorio for Movie Lovers Unite. Okay, check him out. He goes live daily, weekly. He always has something planned. Okay, Wednesday nights, though, you can catch me with John DiGregorio and a host of other podcasters for Oh goodness, it's the video game movie that's out on Showtime, and I am so sorry that I cannot remember that right now. But we go live and we review that, and it's a watch party. Okay. Other than that, guys, I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. It was a short review. I mean, that's pretty much what happened. And if you watched it, good. If you haven't watched it, season two. Anyways, have a wonderful Friday. Have a great weekend, guys. And I'll see you back here Wednesday the 22nd. Jason Johnson's going to join me, and we're going to talk video games and video game movies. Okay? Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys coming into the chat. Please come talk with us. Also, please follow us, guys. Please like, subscribe, share. If you just share and like, more people can find out about Rossie Talks and Movie Lovers Unite. So please do that. It is free, and we have merch. Check out our merch. All the links will be in the bio, okay? In the description. All right. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you next week. Be good to each other and all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. And let's see, you guys know how long it takes me to do this, but let me head out.